Rough brag. I'm over 20 years old. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Durarara. Once again though, thank you to Master Detective for sponsoring these. There isn't a lot to go over, because last episode was anime only. If you remember, it was like episode 12.5.
Yeah, one of those inserts.
Well, you know, it was, what's the name of the movie? I don't remember. I think we, likened it to a movie.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
Reservoir Dogs, I think it was.
Well, maybe you did. I don't think I thought of Reservoir Dogs. I think I thought of...
No, not Reservoir Dogs. The other one. Pulp Fiction.
I couldn't think of the name of the movie. I was about to go into the dancing thing.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Or Pounder with Cheese.
It was in reverse order, yeah.
Well, because it was mostly the Bruce Willis storyline from Pulp Fiction.
The bike, yeah.
Plus aliens. But I guess could consider there might be aliens in Pulp Fiction if you think about what the fuck is in the suitcase.
Suitcase, yeah.
I thought it was gold.
I know somebody's soul, but yeah.
Well, I think now you're talking about that one episode of Archer where he talks to Kenny Loggins. Couldn't think of his name.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Borknak? I don't want whatever's in that. Human souls or plutonium or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. I mean, if it were gold, it would be pretty heavy suitcase.
Yeah, but it glowed yellow golden color when they opened it, didn't it? Or is that just my memory playing tricks? I've seen so many references.
Oh, it did. It did. Although I don't think gold is supposed to be that shiny.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that could just be a visual cue. Like, it doesn't have to be real, although I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's essentially what happened last episode, and since those characters are, as far as I understand it, anime only, not a whole hell of a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Yeah.
So really the only last time on stuff I think we discussed last time was the fact that feels like we finished an arc before with episode 12 with the whole the resolution of the dollars grouping up and intimidating out I forgot the name of the corporation.
Well, intimidated his sister, the guy who thought he had murdered his stalker, but it turns out that, and she only had a plastic surgery to fix her face to look like someone else.
Well, not fix her. Well, I don't know. I don't think she fixed her face. I think she just got the next thing.
Yeah.
I think she looked enough like Celtics had that it passed. I mean, maybe you're right. I don't think that was indication.
Yeah, because he beat her up very badly. So, yeah, I think it was more than, he thought he killed her. So, yeah.
Sorry, it's just in the anime parlance, I don't think she got beaten pretty badly. She did get beaten. I'm not going to argue that. It's just when we saw it, it was like from strangulation to head into the wall.
Yeah.
And you compare that to like any other anime fight scene. It's like, well, maybe.
I mean, true, but the fact that he believed that he killed her and he had to take her and to this private hospital corporation thing.
Well, that's what I was talking about. The pharmaceutical company I couldn't remember the name of. And still can't. Technically, I could probably tab over to a board, and the board will have one of the characters' names, and I think the company has their name. But no, I was saying that they beat them because remember they brought like their workers, their suited workers with them, so technically they intimidated all of them out of the scene. And then the negotiation with our main character at the place that he was keeping. I'm forgetting everybody's names off the top of my head. The girl we were just talking about, who was the stalker, who was not in fact Silty.
It's just The whole thing that eventually he accepted her for who she was. I was like, okay, fine, we're in a relationship. I'm like, okay, that's
your call.
I don't know what. Yeah,
I mean, you're the one who's having a problem with it, but you're not related to this at all, so you really shouldn't have a problem.
Still messed up, but he stalks her. She stalks him. He enraged, nearly kills her. His sister picks her up. It's like, oh, turns out I was always this person pretending to be somebody else. And it's like, whatever. I'm too lonely to care. It's either you or my sister. I prefer to fuck you, I guess.
Well, we have no evidence that that's going on.
Oh, well, I don't think it's one-sided. I think the sister is so obsessed with him.
No. I meant the sexual intercourse. I said there's no indication that that's happening at all.
Yeah, no, but still, it seems like, just make an easy joke out of it. There's enough incest to go around, I guess.
And then remember at the end of the episode, Isaiah has Celti's head. Mm-hmm. Not even in a jar. I think he's just holding it.
Yeah.
I think the indication is that it's still asleep, and he's going to try and use it to create a war or something between all the groups in... God, it's like right there on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the name of the locations and Durarara takes place in.
It's in Tokyo, right? But we're talking about the city within the city, or is it another city?
The city within a city, or is it another city? A question with so many answers.
The thing is that Tokyo metropolitan area is made out of a lot of towns into it, so it could be just that one town.
I believe the word you're looking for is prefecture.
No, prefecture is more like a state, which would be the much larger one. I'm talking about the Tokyo metropolitan area. Within it has like divisions that are smaller towns that have been, or cities that have been integrated over time in Tokyo. Or it could be an entire different city altogether somewhere else in Japan. But I think it's supposed to be in Tokyo. So,
I guess you're right. No, I think I was using the word prefecture wrong. No, I don't know. It's not a city within a city, though. There is a name for what you're describing. I just don't know what the name is anymore.
A municipality?
I mean, I probably shouldn't have looked that up. Only specifically because I could have just looked up the name of the location. Yeah. Ikebukuro is what I went to.
Ikebukuro. Okay.
Probably said that wrong, too. District. Ward. Ward,
yeah.
There we go. All right, well, anything else you want to bring up? Anything else? I've brought up everything. Anything you want to bring up?
The thing is, okay, now we have a conclusion to all these arcs.
Oh, no.
Where do we
haven't even resolved most of the storylines. We resolved but 3 out of 12. So, I said this felt like the end of an arc because it hit a natural end to a bunch of storylines, but didn't resolve most of them.
Yeah. And this is episode 13, so we're off season 1, so I guess this is going to be the big one before the next season show rolls out. So, setup. When you normally you have seasons that are 12 episodes long. So episode 13 usually is the one that is like, the big shakeup, right? Setting up for the next season.
Right? Well, I mean, it depends. That's why I also said it felt like the end of an arc, because obviously that's what we're doing. As you've already indicated, spoilery, that this is a new theme song, which means that's what's happening. But also, some shows don't do it on the 12. Sometimes shows do it on 13.
Or they keep going.
And I mean, some seasons aren't 12 episodes long. Some seasons are 13 episodes long. And God, I can't remember which show last time did that, where it was a 25 episode total run, and they did the shift somewhere around 13 or something like that.
13, 12, yeah.
Well, because it was cut into 2 cores, right? Not 2 seasons, but 2 core, same season thing. So they made the transition from one storyline to the other around halfway through, but they had 25 episodes, so obviously it wasn't going to be a clean cut.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess let's go ahead and hop on into it then.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, If you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
there's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Well, yeah, new opening. Not as good as the last one, I don't think. I really liked the rolling beat nature of the original opening.
Yeah, this is very much typical anime intro.
Then, since it's basically, well, she wasn't in the previous one. These are just introducing us to everybody now.
Yeah.
But I'm also just a bit,
yeah.
Since this is the opening, I can talk about anything. Just want to point out that usually I sit up forwards, and there was that camera shenanigans going on, so I'm actually leaning back against my chair, which I don't usually do in these recordings, and it makes me feel a little bit awkward. But we're still getting the mid-opening recap. And that surgery scene that you didn't get to see before.
Oh, now we have a slasher? I guess we already had it, but I hadn't seen it.
Yeah. Well, because it hasn't really been a pursued storyline. That they appeared in one episode. I think the thing is that they don't kill anybody. Oh, well, there we go. Cop guy from 12.5 is a continuing character. So I should add him to the board. No, I think heavily the indication has been that the slasher girl is the daughter of the one investigator. But again, he hasn't really shown up since that episode either, so I don't think you even know who he is.
Russian sushi. That's interesting.
The indication is that the other sushi shops are selling human bodies as sushi. That's the joke that Simon keeps making. Don't eat there. It's human bodies.
Oh, they're putting her as a slasher.
No, they said it started around the same time as they showed up.
America's already contacted the Well, it's episode 13, so it's sudden twist. It's literally in the title.
I mean, we already knew that America was involved anyway because that other corporation that's messing with the pharmaceutical company.
Oh, so they're hiding.
Not really. They're on the roof of, I guess, is the school. Why? Your girlfriend's in the hospital. Sort of. You still got gray people in the background. She's already getting that treatment from a teacher. I don't need it from you.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any winning here because you already called her not erotic. So
yeah. I think in a way that he's saying that not put her in the, that.
No, I know. You can't defend her and then call her ugly in the same line.
半年前、ちょっとした騒ぎが起こった。町でも学校でも、しばらくはその話題で持ちきりだった。
Oh, this is 6 months later, I guess.
しかし、彼女には関係ない。 興味もない。
And there's the creep.
Oh.
They already had a confrontation in the hallway. I don't remember if it was a scene you saw or not.
何も起きない。何も変わらない。それが彼女の日常。
Oh, second I thought that was the kidnapper's van.
Yeah.
Well, there's only like two groups of vans in this place. One's the kidnapper's van. One's the friends of the main character's van.
そうっすね。
What's infuriating, of course, you have this teacher that should be fired at least, but he's still there and getting away with it. Sort of.
私たちだけが知ってるくらいがちょうどいいのにね。
乃木坂遥の秘密っすね。
お前らな。まあそういうな。きっといろい
Yeah,
ろあるんだ
everything
ろう
those two
よ。
do are all like manga references. So it's interesting that the gray people have detail.
Now.
Well, no, I mean they have kind of always did, but they've always been in the background. Now they're actively saying stuff and they're getting facial movements and everything.
Yeah, I think it's that thing of being awakening to the truth.
But they're still gray, is what I'm pointing out.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, again, this guy from episode 12.5 is a character. I guess maybe that's how they decided to introduce him. For some reason in an anime-only episode. I mean, they don't seem panicked. In fact, they seem to have square jaws.
俺たちはお前みたいなのが出てくる漫画や映画の中でいつだってかませいのだ。超能力者の主人公様が現れた時にはいつだって血だまりの中に倒れていて相手の強さを演出していた。
Wow, this guy is self-aware. Oh, this is a manga. It's an anime. I know that, so.
演出としてしようがないことだ。だけど一言言いたいと思っていたんだよ。本当に怪物とか悪のサイキッカーとか人造人間とか忍者が現れたら一言だけなんだよ。俺が言いたいのはほうきを舐めるなよ、化け物。
Kuka.
もう一度言うぞ、化け物風情な。ほうきを舐めるな。
Are they trying to intimidate her? Is that?
I mean, I think so. They don't want to be the stereotypical cops from media.
Yeah, the guy who's responsible for her losing her head. Or at least knows where the head was.
Well, he's not responsible.
Didn't he cut his head? Wasn't he one experimenting on her?
No, and also the one you're thinking about that was experimenting on her also didn't cut her head off. She was already looking for the head when she encountered those people. Because remember, you're talking about his dad. That's the experimenter. Regular old Smokey and the Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
そういえば、君に対抗するためによそからすごい白バイ隊員が来たとか。確か、葛原金之助って相手を追い込みすぎてよく事故らせる問題警官らしいけど。
Oh, he's a bad cop then.
Is he?
Well, you cause accidents by over pursuing people. You know, you're endangering the lives of other people you're supposed to be protect.
Technically, he is the movie lead cop, right? It's gonna be a
That doesn't make him a good cop.
You know, he's gonna go back to the office, and you know, he's gonna have the argument with the chief.
Yeah, I don't. Propaganda is not
そんなところを
made for
悪いけど
good actual cops. You know,
It's not propaganda.
it is propaganda.
It's not propaganda.
仕事じゃない
It is.
It
It is
literally-
the definition of propaganda. Propaganda.
I don't think there
Like
is a
the
definition.
cops,
so
the
we-
cops, the cops can never do wrong. The lone cop is
That's
the
not
one
the
who's always
definition
right.
of cops
Always
can't
out-
do. That's not the definition of cops can't do wrong. No one's not accusing the cop of doing anything wrong. I'm saying it's.
He is.
I'm
So
sorry. I
overzealous because it's
misspoke. Don't jump on that part. I meant to say that that's not the focus. The focus is on action movie cop, not cop did nothing wrong.
君たち東京は空気が汚いそうは思わんかね
Oh, hey, he's actually showing up.
でもその汚い顔は立派な保護色とな
This
って
is the first time since a trip to Ireland.
この汚れきった空気の中ではなおいこのおっさんどっか湧いてるっぽいぜ
まあいいんじゃないですか
We legit
Why
know
do
that he
they
has a
always do
scalpel
that?
in his pocket. Oh, because it's a gang-ridden area, remember?
どうやら大人の
Yeah.
力
There's like 5 different gang, 4.
Yeah, but
Three?
the whole pouring something on someone, so
This is the easiest thing to do.
そう思ってるだろうがね覚えておきたまえ人を殺そうとするときにはその相手に殺される覚悟をせねばやっぱ湧いてんだろおっさんもう20歳過ぎてんだよちょっと待ちたまえ
Rough brag. I'm over 20 years old.
指刺さる何してるんだ
That's a gif.
早く私を助けたまえ
助けたくないな。
私が強気に対応したのは君の姿が見えて安心したからだということに気づかないのかね
Legit, why are you here?
こいつ黒バイクっすよ何マジかヒガマジっす俺テレビで見たっすおめえも半年前のダラーズの集会に行ったそうじゃねえか
One means of communication.
どいつもこいつも俺たちの島ででけえ面しやがってどうしたなんか言ってみろよあ
I'm just confused by why the old man's personality seems to have changed so much from the flashback that we got before.
that sounded like a baby crying.
It was. People
Yeah.
are terrified. They make weird noises.
No, I mean when the thing retracted, they ran away. It sounded like a baby crying.
Maybe it was. She's a weird, supernatural creature. Who the hell knows? Again, he didn't act like that in the flashback, so I don't know. Maybe Shinra, remember his dad is more respectful?
Okay. Isn't he the one experiment who experimented on her?
Yeah,
Isn't he the
that's what
owner
I'm
of the
talking
company?
about. That's what I've been talking about this whole time.
Why does he confront him about where her head is and try to get
You're
something out of
wrong.
it?
I told you this before. He doesn't have her head. He didn't take her head. He never had her head. Well, technically, he kind of did have her head, but she doesn't know that. She only met him on the boat ride from Ireland to go get her head. The experiment he did on her was only on her body because she has like regeneration, and he wanted to experiment on the regeneration factor she has.
今朝缶詰開けたばっかりネタは新鮮よ悪いねこれでもいろいろ忙しくってそのうちまた寄らしてもらうよ Hey Sierrak mieszkaniec poradzisz W domie u Pabeshi Freshmasha nie gawaliata Beliovke danke
I'm assuming they were speaking Russian.
Yeah. Although that Danke would sound like more German, but sure.
Well, I mean, Simon is Russian, so that's the only reason I would think that they're speaking Russian.
エロを笑う者はエロに泣くのだぞ。いや意味わかんないし。
男子と仲良くなるのは初めての経験だった。いや正確には誰とも仲が良かったことなどなかったのかもしれない。
You were friends with a stalker. You literally were trying to hunt her down throughout the city before.
Yeah, but I think friends with boys, not friends with girls.
No, she said friends with anyone before. She said this is the first time I've been friends with boys. Well, actually, and then says friends with anyone. See, they're even referencing the scene I was talking about.
よし。アンリのエロ可愛さを証明するために、これから3人でナンパに行こう。何その理屈？
ナンパって。
大丈夫。アンリはいわば女の子もいるからついていっても大丈夫だろうと安心させるための罠だから。
And the Ray people are casting shadows on the actual people.
待ってよマサオミ。よし行くぞ。者どもついてこい。レッツラートン。
He's protecting her, but at the same time wants to be a creep to other girls?
No, he's a complicated character. Again, remember he has like a former girlfriend or possibly current girlfriend in the hospital that he like walks past the hospital window every so often to look up at.
Yeah.
That Isaiah knows that girl too, so it's weird. But again, Isaiah seems to know everybody.
Oh, he wants them to
Oh,
get
gang
together.
members.
That's what he's doing.
Ah, see, even he noticed. So that implies that the two different gangs are teaming up? Because those were orange and yellow. That's two different gang colors.
自分に好意を抱いていることには気づいていた。しかし。
夕焼け綺麗だね。あ、でもあっちに変な雲が。後で雨が降るかもしれないから気をつけようね。
そうですね。
そうですね。
え？何？
私ここで。
え？
それじゃあまた明日。
うん、また明日。
I think that's the same location that he ran with her to when they were being chased by people before.
多分今どちらかに告白されても何も答えられない。彼女は今でも播磨美香のことが好きだった。同じくらい二人のことも。彼女はまだ。
So she was in love with her best friend, I guess.
彼女にとって播磨美香は龍ヶ峰帝は木田正臣は
どうしてもダメですか？
俺たちやっぱりあんたがいないと。
だから言ってるだろう。俺はもう関係ねえ。ここは俺の居場所じゃねえんだ。戻る気はねえんだよ。
I can't remember the name of the yellow gang was. But it implies he has a history with the gang scene. I don't know how I'd feel about being on the cover with that tagline. Hope that segment that they didn't translate wasn't vital. Oh hey, the Gouger girls.
街に黄色い人たちが増えてきましたね。黄色？本当ですよね。はっきり姿が見える分、ダラーズより目立ってますよね。
ああ、黄金族ですか？
セットンさんもご存知ですか？
ええ、まあ昔からいますよね、あの連中。
I suppose it's weirder because the dollar's color is colorless, which implies mostly the gray people. But some of those gray people were wearing yellow bandanas.
復活したってことですか？池袋も物騒になってきましたね。
本当に警察も怖いですし、いや本気で警察を舐めないでください。
警察？
So I was just laughing to myself because I know Griffin would stop hating the show right about now. Don't underestimate the police.
なんだよその面は。切り裂き魔の事件も解決しそうにありませんしね。そういえば知ってます？切り裂き魔の正体はダラーズだって噂。首なしライダーって噂もあるそうですよ。え？誰がそんなことを？それはないと思います。
I mean, the girl that we suspect to be the slasher is also constantly in the chat room. I think she got banned though, actually, because she was spamming a lot of shit.
そうなんですか。わかりました。気をつけます。たくよ、ハリマの次は竜神ネと木田に媚び売っておまけにナス島かよ。
何人に体売れば気が済むんだよ。この円行女。誰かに寄生しなきゃ生きていけねえくせしてさ。幼稚。
少女は思っていた。彼女たちの言っていることは本当だと。自分はハリマミカに依存していた。
I mean, it's rich coming from, well, at least one of them.
なんとか言えよ。幼虫には口もねえのかよ。
今も二人の少年に依存しているのかもしれない。彼らの中に自分の居場所を見つけようと。
くっせんだよ、幼虫。学校来てんじゃねえよ。こっちはあんたのせいで二人も彼氏やられてんだからね。
I did think they were different guys every time. Thought I was going crazy though. I'm glad that she said that.
何も起きない。何も変わらない。それが彼女の日常。
あんたの家この近くなんだろ。ちょっと当たらせなよ。ガサ入れタイムしてやったらよ。ほら、さっさと案内しな。
Slasher time?
来たー。あれ切りたいのはこっちですよ。もう半年くらい前から池袋関係の掲示板やチャットを荒らしてるやつですよね。まだ悪気にしてなかったんですか？しましたよ。でも何度やってもダメなんですよ。
I was about to say it didn't follow the same way that they used to talk before, but getting back into it.
別のホストから入ってくるんです。あ、プロクシーですか？櫛でもなさそうなんですよね。なんかやっぱり怖いですね。
I mother?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the way they spam before. They kind of disjointed. It's hard to follow. Might not be the same person.
何も起きない。何も変わらない。それが。
That doesn't look like it's just good cutting.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of blood before, but that really seemed like it was trying to imply that they were dying. And the slasher doesn't kill. The slasher wounds.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can survive
Slasher's
a stab,
pretty vicious.
but still. Yeah, that overhand, stab looks very much intended to kill.
Well, I don't know. I saw a lot of that in Scream. Yeah.
I mean, people died in Scream.
No, I'm talking about the end when you find out that there's two people and they're like, "Oh, and stab me," so it looks like. It was a good episode. Good setup for everything. I'm disappointed that Shinra's dad is less serious than I thought he was supposed to be. But I guess that's just Shinra's memory of his dad because he was him relating events.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's easy to consider that he might be a serious character when he's got like a devil gas mask on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then he actually starts talking and he's like a goof.
Mm-hmm. It's I do miss the intro song from the first season. It had more punch.
街のどこかに切り裂き魔がいる。事件が起こるたびに不安に呼び覚まされた恐怖心が重くよどんだ夜の風に無数の噂を巻き起こす。しかし次回仏上騒然。
Sorry, I realized I said that and I got it completely wrong. You said, is that him with a gun? And I was thinking about the girl in front who had the gun put at her back.
No.
Well, because I was thinking about that was the girl from the pharmaceutical company who just got defeated last arc.
Let's just let me see. Is this episode? Yeah, 35. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. I don't know. Maybe I just started wrong with Durarara because it has failed to catch me. It's like, yeah, it's interesting, and then it's just the moment's over. I'm like, it's okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, I guess if I started at the very beginning, I would go like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But by now, I'm like, it feels like vignettes, right? Like a collection of vignettes. Like this happens, this happens, this happens, and you're like, and I know they're connected, but they don't feel to me like they're connected.
Except that they are. They're very super connected. They're not vignettes because it's not like oh shit, I can't remember the word I'm looking for here. You already know it's an ensemble piece when it comes to the cast.
Yeah.
And it's not a bunch of like what do you call a movie that's like multiple smaller movies? I can't think of the word.
Collage?
No, like for you anime fans out there, I'm talking like Robot Carnival or Memories or
yeah. Collection. There's a word for it.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. Either way, it's not like a collection of stories that don't have any connection to one another because we have a through line main plot, and then did you ever watch Loki?
What is the okay? Wait.
Did you ever watch Loki? Because it also seems like the whatever they call the timeline thing. When you look at that, it's got all these like little curves coming off of it and everything. That's essentially what's happening. So we have all these side stories that all curl around and loop back into the main timeline again. You have a main through line, and then sometimes we cover well, this is what I was doing 6 months ago, and it turns out that thing that they were doing 6 months ago heavily informs the character, but then also has something to do with the main plot line. So that these unrelated or seemingly unrelated people are all being brought together by this overarching story. So it's more like a noir detective story, if you think about it. Just in the...
what is the main plot line? Is the main plot line the fact that this kid is... Because it seems like it was a lie. He wasn't really a shut-in. He actually built the dollars and knew a lot of people.
Well, technically, he was a shut-in. He built the dollars from his... literally his bedroom without going outside.
Yeah, and is that the main plot line, or is it the Celtic thing? Looking for a head. Which one is it?
Well, I mean, that is dependent. That's dependent. I would say that probably the kid who formed the dollars is the main plot line, what he's going through, because he's our main point of view character. I would think the problem is that it's not a weighted ensemble. We don't really have a character whose point of view is stronger than the others.
I don't know. I'm finding it very hard to get into it for some reason. It's just
because you watch it once a month.
No, but I mean, I can watch something once a month and go like, oh, I'm looking out for the next episode, right? Here it's like, I mean, it's.
See, I don't get it because my problem with your description of it is that this is a narrative-heavy show with a lot of moving parts that makes it super interesting to try and place together which part is interacting with which, as you have to keep in mind so many different things at the same time. It is,
I think,
the super complex narrative with depth to every part of it, and that makes it so much more enjoyable to watch. And I think you're doing it a real heavy disservice by the way you describe it.
Because I don't think any of those parts, let me be perfectly honest, I really don't give a fuck beyond the 22 minutes. The moment I'm watching, it's like, oh yeah, this is okay. The moment it's over, I'm like, oh, okay, it's over. Right? I don't have like, oh, I want to see what happens with Celti. I want to see what happens with that guy. I'm like, yeah, that was the thing.
I'm only taken back to previous quote of yours that would probably solve every dispute I have with you on this matter and why you're probably the way you are in regards to the show. I mean, quote, lessons, some mysteries aren't meant to be solved.
Yeah, no, but I don't think that applies here because
this show is filled with mysteries, and you're like, I don't care after I'm done watching.
It's not the statement I was making is that you have like some need to be solved because they're crucial to the plot. Some are solved because they're interesting in their own right, and some are left unsolved because you want always to have that space where, like, you can either build from more or there's like, oh, there's more to the story, but we only have, there's a bigger world out there, so there's mysteries you don't solve because that gives you a sense of a bigger world. Like, you don't know everything, like in the real world, right? That's what I meant by that statement. Here, it's like, okay, we're doing all this, but at the end of the day, I don't care. It hasn't roped me in. I'm trying to go like, oh, okay, that's interesting. As an exercise of narrative construction is interesting, but maybe it's, I hate to say this, I think it seems to be complex, and complexity is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for depth. It's like if you have narrower, like 3 or 4 things going on, and those were explored fully, those would be deeper to me than having 20 things going on and only get like a bit here and a bit there.
The characters all have depth, though. That's what I'm saying. Is it's not just the complexity. You're saying the complexity is carrying everything, and I'm saying that's disingenuous. The characters all have their own depth. They all have their own lives that they're living. That you see them in the backgrounds while they're doing stuff, and it's like, oh wait, I remember when you were doing this, and now you're over here. And now, how does this weigh in with the fact that you also hang out at like this homeless place for foreigners, and you're also hanging out with the biker gangs? It's like every character has multi-part depth to them, and then when they get focused on the screen, you get to re-experience their lives and figure out how they have a part to play in the greater mystery of everybody else's greater mysteries. It is like going to a murder mystery party. And you're like, there's too many people at this murder mystery party. I'm never going to be able to figure this out.
I feel it's just like a ball of yarn, and I'm not a kitten. I'm like, oh, that's a ball of yarn. Great. If I were a kitten, it's like, oh, I have to take it apart because it rolls and it has all these lines. I'm like,
I feel like it is a ball of yarn. I will agree with you that. But it's not a ball of yarn and a kitten. It's a ball of yarn and a conspiracy theorist. He's like, I'm going to put that on a board. I'm going to put that all over a fucking board. That's this ball of yarn. And you're like, can't be bothered.
Because I don't know. To me, I'm never giving a reason to bother. I never connected with any other characters to the point of like, that guy, I want to see what happens to that guy. Because things seem to happen to be kind of randomly as well. It's like, oh yeah, and this guy showed up. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that's how much more real could you get? And then that guy showed up is just how stuff happens. I was there at the corner store, and then this guy showed up.
Yeah, but I don't care about either the guy in the corner store or the guy that showed
Except
up.
in this show, it's in this show, we get the point of view of so many different people, is that we know what that guy was doing before he showed up, when he showed up, after he showed up, and sometimes not from his perspective. We know what that guy was doing because he's been around so many other people.
Yeah, but I don't care about any of them. And when I start caring, they do stupid shit that I'm like, this is so wrong. I don't want anything to do with it. I think that's the other part. Like, oh, yeah, no, we have a stalker. Okay, that's a thing that happens, and it's serious, and we've seen the implications. Oh, she nearly got murdered by the person she was stalking. Okay, that's fucked up. Oh, let's talk about the love that we don't have, but we're still in love with. Like, what?
God forbid that Lessons doesn't like a high school romance.
Okay, no, typical high school romance is not, I slam your head against the wall so hard.
No, typically it's a girl who can't talk to other people unless she expresses her feelings in Russian or something like that.
It's a little more tame than that.
Or it's a cosplayer who, has to find that one guy who can sew clothing right. Or, it's the president of the school council and the rich daughter of, it's got to be something very specific. Not this, though.
No, it's just that these are not good people. And I'm not interested in seeing, except for one or two characters, everyone else is a fuck up. It's like, you're just a bunch of fuck ups and I don't care about you. You're not giving me anything to care about. Sorry. And I also don't like, I guess I don't like people being rewarded for doing messed up shit. That's the thing that's important.
From the anime?
Not really. I mean, sometimes people get rewarded, but then they get the comeuppance. There's a give and take here. It's like, oh, no, it's just, no, it's not my cup of tea. It's, again, interesting for a little bit, but then it feels very much like a soap opera where you're interested at the right moment. It's like, oh, I'm not your uncle, sister's neighbor's second son. I'm somebody else. Like, okay. And then, well, that happened. We move on to someone else. That's it. And like, oh, okay, but why was that important? Well, it was important because it was, at that moment, it was thrilling. Now it's like, we don't care.
Well, again, we is you in this scenario.
Yeah, true. I am speaking for myself mostly. Well, totally. But so it's like, it has just failed to grab me. So.
Well, I guess nobody can blame you for not being honest at the very least. So once again,
I hope not.
So once again, thank you for the Master Detective for sponsoring this. I guess that's it. So once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. You've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?